Hello again, welcome back to Asgard, and welcome back to SevTech Ages. So, since the last episode, I did a lot of exploration within the Betweenlands. On the 7th fort in total. I've done 7 fortresses. 5 Cragrock towers. And I don't even know how many shrines, probably 40-ish. I finally got the Ring of Ascent. Grants the gift of levitation. Finally got it. It only took forever. That's what we need for making the journey map token. I'm not for sure. I would rather have 2 of these. One for the journey map token and one for our personal use. Because, like, I'll still be doing Betweenlands stuff. Not as much now that we're about to finish Betweenlands. But I'll still be, you know, wanting to enter the Betweenlands and stuff on occasion. To gather up certain things. And this thing is a godsend when it comes to the Betweenlands. It really, really is. So, depending how I feel when that time comes, if I don't have 2 tokens, I may or may not use it. I don't know. But a lot of exploration. My chest broke. Oh, I need to repair these real quick. Let me do that real fast. Oh, by the way, I added root plank doors. These root planks are currently, giant root planks are currently uncraftable. Once again, I just tossed some giant root and cheated in planks. Because I wanted to make doors for these. Because over here, we actually have Airmid. Our firefly is hanging out in here. I actually put down a firefly at first, and the firefly proceeded to just fly out the door and go. And then I placed down a second one. And after I put the doors down, and he proceeded to, or she proceeded to, despawn without the name tag. So I threw a name tag on this one, and it seems to be staying really, really well. I didn't think they would despawn without a name tag, but they do. So also over here, I added some drawers here for like the yellow dotted fungus and the white pears. And then we've got some chests here with a variety of plants. And I've got a chest here with like seed spores and tools and stuff like that. Over here, because I'm often working in this area, farming and stuff like that, I added a little disc shelf. And I have space, you know, there's altogether there's 14 different music discs that the Betweenlands adds, so I am collecting those. And the last journey out to find, or looking for the Ring of Levitation, I found quite a few of them. So, but I can throw the disc in here, and it actually covers like our entire Betweenlands district type area, which is awesome. I've been using it. And then, let's see, I'm getting ready to get rid of all this stuff. I'm working up to it at the moment. I don't think there's anything actually over here. And before I forget, I added Weeping Blues. These are the ones that give those petals that give you the decay regeneration. I went ahead and planted those because they're not very common at all. They're one of the rarer plants within the Betweenlands. And, yeah, now we have those for use with decay regeneration. You can also make these weeping blue petal salads that provide a decent amount of saturation, but really at the end of the day it does not compare to what we have with the Meyer Snail scrambles. And this has been cooking away for quite a while. There we go, 64, white pear jello. And in addition, when you're breeding these Meyer Snails, one thing to note, I would suggest you just take your sludge balls and just feed all of them as fast as you can, because I've noticed that there's a thing there's a thing that where I've actually got enough pear. I've got 9 in here, so technically I can make like 4 eggs at a time. But if you feed them all together at like the same time, some of them will double up. So you'll have like this snail, like all, I don't know, all 3 breeding, and you'll get 2 eggs. It's like a bug. So, like, I fed all 8 of them, and I got 8 eggs on the last. I fed 8 times, and I got 8 eggs on the last time that I came over here and fed. So, I'm actually looking for an Enderman. I've killed quite a few since the last episode, trying to get one more Ender Pearl powder. And they tend to spawn. I've noticed they started spawning a lot over here. And I did go to the Beneath to kill a few Endermen, but those Endermen actually hit a lot harder. Ah! There we go, okay. Alright. I was actually thinking about, well, we might have to do the hunting dimension this episode. We are going to be doing that soon because I do want to set up a mob farm. But okay, let me get these ender pearls changed over. And depending on where we get to with time and everything, we might possibly still end up going to the hunting dimension this episode briefly. And maybe start setting up for... Hey, that doesn't work. Oh, maybe it has to be right here. Aha, there we go. Okay. I need those iron bars. And then I need 2 ender pearls. And we're going to be making something nifty. So, last episode, of course, we wanted to move that sludge, right? And I couldn't. I was like, no, I can't move this. Because I had no way to move it. And I totally did. I totally did. But Zephyr Windspirit brought up in the comments that the Interdimensional Cage from Abyssalcraft. Totally didn't think about that. I totally didn't think about that. So we are going to be crafting ourselves an interdimensional cage and getting Sloppy Joe over from the Betweenlands to our farms. Now over here, I've been working on a project. I've been working on this, basically just framing work thus far. Hey Creeper. Hey Creeper. But I am about to put the floor down over here. But this is just framing for just the base of the warehouse. I'm going to have the front probably come out. I'm going to have the sides come out in some spots, and they're going to connect to a lower deck. And I'm going to have, I think the back side of it is going to open up into like a fluid storage type setup. But this is just the starts of it. So, the start of a big warehouse. Lots of spruce, lots of pitstone. Luckily, I had a lot of pitstone, and I was wanting to use it for something, and I think it looks kind of nice here. And it'll be nice for like a good warehouse. So, and I'm actually thinking about using weedwood, not weedwood planks, but weedwood itself for a lot of the floor. Like the weedwood that I have like 100 stacks of. Yeah, I'm thinking about using that because I don't know, like not just that, but like something else to kind of accent it a bit. But I actually quite like this wood quite a bit. So I don't know, we'll see. I've got to get in there and start working on that. But anyways, let's go ahead and craft ourselves our interdimensional cage. And this thing is, oh yeah, I forgot. I put this in the wrong spot last time, but let's actually throw it down right there. Okay, so the interdimensional cage. We can do this with standard Necronomicon. It does require a Shard of Oblivion, Transmutation Gem. We're going to have to craft this anyway because I am planning on doing the Abyssalcraft Dimensions in H2. I know a lot of people aren't doing them because they're not needed for progression, but hey, most of the stuff we've been doing of late isn't needed for progression. We haven't really progressed at all in a very good long while. As far as like actual like just the pack advancements or anything. Okay, so we're going to need 2 ender pearls, 2 transformation powder, because we do have to have gone to the Twilight Forest for this. Luckily we have. We've got plenty of transformation powder. And then 4 aquamarine and then a corellium pearl in the center. And then we can get our Shard of Oblivion. So we'll just shift right click. I always want to run away from this, but you really don't need to do that because it'll mess up your ritual if you don't like stand pretty close to it. So there we go, and there we go. And this thing has 10 uses. So we're only going to be using up one of the uses today, and we are going to need this thing anyways. We're going to have to make more Shards of Oblivion here fairly soon because we're going to have to make Oblivion Catalyst. And that is to access our first dimension, which technically, really right now we could do it, and we could go into the first dimension. We're not going to just yet, but here soon we are going to. So Transmutation Gem, Shadow Gems, and we're going to get our Shard of Oblivion, and we used 1 use of our Transmutation Gem. Generally, like 1 Transmutation Gem is going to be plenty, and once you hit the first dimension, unless it's disabled within this pack, which I highly doubt it. I've only noticed overworld loot from dungeons not being there, but most of the added dimensions loot still seems to be there. But you can generally find free Transmutation Gems in the first dimension. So then we're just going to surround this with iron bars. And this should have, yeah, it's got plenty of, whoops. Whoops, shift right click. This white pear jello is awesome, by the way. It's absolutely unbeatable as far as food. And I highly doubt that much is going to come in the future that's going to beat out, you know, our Hearty Stew, White Pear Jello, and the Meyer Snail Scrambles. The only thing I can think of that would really be better is like Hydra Chops and stuff, and those aren't, you know, you don't really farm Hydra Chops. So that's just something that we'll get a few of, and then I'll probably stick in a chest and not want to use because they're too rare. By the way, I have like, oops. We have to let that thing charge. It does have 1000 PE storage, and we are going to want to fully charge it because it does consume some PE whenever you move entities. It's all based on, if I recall, it's based... I could go jump in the water, I guess, but I'm kind of having fun just standing here burning. If I recall correctly, this I don't even know where to find this thing. I don't use this book for that much. I'm not sure, but if I recall correctly, its PE usage is based on the size of the mob. It's all relative to the size. So yeah, there's 1000 PE. We'll go ahead and put our Necronomicon back in there. And we have our Interdimensional Cage, and we can use this to capture creatures and move them, which is going to be useful. I'm going to be using it also for things like sheep and stuff, because I want to bring sheep back to the base. I believe sheep may be able to be used with carry-on. I know chickens can, but I don't know. Sheep probably can't, because they're probably too big. Let's take a look at the advancements here. This one we're going to get here soon. That's not a problem, especially since I got that one ring. Slay 3 enemies using a Shockwave. Use all arrow types. Slay a critter with a critter cruncher. Slay a sludge with a sludge slicer. Knock back 3 swamp hags. Defeat the mummy. Find your way back by using caving rope. Okay, so let's grab ourselves a sludge slicer, which I've got like I've got so much of this stuff. Let's grab one of each of these, because we are going to want them to kill mobs with. Also, I should grab a Shockwave Sword. I've got 5 Shockwave Swords. I didn't get them out of every White Fortress that I did. I also didn't kill the boss every time. I only killed the boss like 3 times. And then I was like, okay, this is enough. And then we need all the different arrow types. So Basilisk arrows, Poison Angler arrows, Angler Tooth, and Octane arrows. Those are the 4 different types of arrows. And then we're also going to want a Cymerite Shield. And it's really just kind of for completion's sake. You know, we've got Betweenlands on the run. We might as well finish out all of our advancements for it. And then, let's see. And then we'll also just make a Weedwood bow for using these arrows. Technically, we have our Blood Magic bow with us, but I don't know for sure. I'm going to go ahead and do the Weedwood bow just to make sure that it, you know, it registers it. Because I don't want it to mess up and not register it or something. Okay, and then the caving rope. Let's go ahead and get that just so we can knock out that advancement as well. Okay, so we're going to have to make some climbing ropes. These are actually kind of nice because you can kind of drop them down and like climb down using them. But let me go get... I'll just get like a stack of this. I have 17 stacks of Octane. I have 3 stacks of Valinite. So, life crystals I'm not too bad on. I actually have quite a bit of white hearts. So, okay, there's 24 climbing ropes. And then we'll just make our caving ropes. Press V to connect or disconnect 2 from a nearby caving rope. And I think we got like most everything. We are going to have to beat that boss, and I have to farm tar beasts. Because I've killed about 3 tar beasts so far, and I have never once obtained a one of the tar beast hearts. And I'm going to have to get one of those for the boss. Okay, so once in the Betweenlands, let's actually do the caving rope quest first, in fact, because it's super quick. To give you an idea, I had made a stack of the sap jello, and then I had to, I went on that long journey, and yeah. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to right-click it to there, and then what we can do is just kind of bring this out, and you can see it's breaking down, or the number there on the screen. We have 17, 16, 15, 14, there we go. We got the achievement Spelunking. You have to go at least 10 blocks. If you take a look here, it's 10 out of 10. And then basically what we can do is we can follow this back and we'll get the rope back. Well, we have to hit the orange markers and it picks it up. So But this stuff is nice if you want to like easily find your way in and out of caves. You can also use this in the overworld as well. So quite useful. It will take a lot of it if you're planning on going caving very, very far. But it's still useful. Okay, so now let's pop over to the mob farm, the sludge farm. I want to go get Sloppy Joe, just because I'm kind of worried about him. Not really, but let's go ahead and equip our Ring of Levitation, or Ring of Ascent. And what we can do is we can, there we go, we can double click and look at this. It actually creates a swirl of leaves beneath you, and you hover above the ground. You can't fly like, it's not creative mode flight, but we're able to hover above the Betweenlands. We can float over water, we can float over mud, we can float over marshes and poison, I don't know, nettle and all that stuff. We can just kind of float above the ground. That reminds me though, the sporling. I did end up getting that advancement from Farmer, this one right here. Let a sporling hatch from your crops. I was thinking that we had to manually break it. That is not the case. Basically, what you do is you plant sporelings. If you didn't see the little note I left on the last episode, you plant your sporelings down on non-purified dirt because you need it to start decaying. And then what's going to happen is, after a while, when it starts to decay, your mushroom, your shroom will actually just break out of the ground and it'll be a little sporling and he'll start running around. I was thinking that we actually broke it and that spawned the sporling, but I was incorrect. So if you want to get that advancement or you want to get a bunch of sporelings, that's the way to go. Okay, now right here, there is a Meyer Snail. Let me, you can double click to turn that on and off, by the way. Let's grab our Critter Cruncher, because we have an easy advancement right here. This right here, the Critter Cruncher insta-kills any critters. And it doesn't insta-kill silk crabs, though, which is strange. I was thinking that it would. Anyways, we got the advancement critical hit. And that thing, you can use it for Meyer Snails. You can also use it for termites and things of that nature. This silk crab's going to have a hard time getting me. Oh, no, he's not. There we go. And you can hold shift if you want to go down, by the way. So, Sloppy Joe, are you around? Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take our Interdimensional Cage, right-click Sloppy Joe, and you can see we have Sloppy Joe in an Interdimensional Cage. Has 854 out of 1000 PE, so based on his size, it drained a little bit of PE. It's actually not that bad. But of course, the larger the mob, the more PE it's going to take. I want to say that Shoggoths take around 700, 800, or something like that. Oh, and I guess I should grab my hopper that's over here. Hoppers aren't terribly expensive, but kind of a waste just to leave it here. Okay, now we also have the advancement for using all the different bow, or the arrow types. So let's go ahead. That was, I want to say that's Octane. Yeah, it's using Octane right now. And then it used Angler Tooth. Then we'll use, that should be Poison. Yeah. And then we have the Basilisk, which this thing is, Basilisks are uncraftable, and they're super rare. That's all I've got of them. But there we go, Arrow Arsenal. And what Basilisk Arrow does is it will stun, basically stop the mobs in place for a short while. Kind of like the Basilisk Potion does. So it's good for pretty much lock down the mob using it. I'll tell you what, I'm going to pop back to the overworld, because I forgot Shimmer Stone. And I need that in case we run into a peat mummy, because there is an advancement for the peat mummies. Oh, and by the way, when you have the Ring of Levitation, this is something really, really bizarre. Your slime boots no longer work. You don't take any fall damage, but your slime boots don't work. So if you're wanting to use those, unequip this ring, and you'll be able to use them once again. And I still need to find an opportunity to use the Shockwave Sword. It's really good if you get termites. I'm probably going to go out and find a spawner and just kind of sit around it for like termites or blood snails or something like that. You can also use Meyer Snails. Well, actually right here. Here we go. Here's what I'm going to do for this advancement. I'm going to use Carry On and just grab our Meyer Snails. And we're going to kind of... These should work. Even though they're passive creatures, they should still work fine. Man, that Meyer Snail thinks he has somewhere he needs to go. Okay, so now if we come over here, pow, We got the Do the Wave advancement. So easy way to do that right there. Okay, we still have to kill a sludge, which we're going to get that whenever we go out to do the peat mummy. And then I've got to farm tar bastes. I've got to farm tar bastes to get a heart. It's pretty rare, especially without some kind of looting. It's going to be a pain. And tar bastes are not the most common creatures ever. Without finding a tar beast spawner, like, they're not easy to find a bunch of them, but we'll see. And then I'll probably load up on some XP. All the rings use XP, but it's not too bad. It's not the worst drain ever. Okay, so Sloppy Joe, we are back in the overworld. Let's get you placed down. And I think right now, distract a peat mummy, and then we've got the shield, the sludge, the boss, and that's it. Oh yeah, and the ring, which we'll get that from the boss. So. Alright, so we're just going to shift right click, Sloppy Joe, right there. And now our system is complete. We now have Sloppy Joe here, and he is hanging out with us. And I'll actually put this into here, because we will probably end up using that again. And I was actually going to go out and farm more of this stuff anyways. Well, now, there we go. And that Cymride Hopper is picking up most of it. There is a little bit that's going to fall over the edge. I still haven't got around to crafting out the magnetism sigil for blood magic. I just keep forgetting about it, but that's fine because I can easily walk around and pick this up. But you can see it's dropping it into the stone grill automatically, and it's smelting it. And look at that. We have sludge balls. And then if I need more for the farms, then I can do so. Honestly, what I'll probably do to upkeep this is just all the leftovers around the edge. I'll just pick them up and dump them into here and just let everything that was collected smelt. Oh, and our Meyer Snails are ready to go. Let's do this. So what we'll do is we're just going to take our sludge balls and just go through and just breed everything. There we go. And we'll see how many eggs we got. I fed 9 sludge balls, and, well, we only got 4 eggs that time. Well, that's no good. Maybe it had something to do with my timing or something last time. I don't know. But I did get a lot more eggs. I did get a lot more eggs the last time, but I don't know. Maybe the trick is feed like 3, and then when those breed, feed like 2 more or something. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'll have to play around with it. Okay, so back in the Betweenlands, I've got some Shimmer Stone. Let's grab our Tome of Peridia. This right here. And I've got currently 95 levels in there. So let's just grab ourselves... Oops. Let's grab ourselves... we'll grab like 25 levels. Whatever we don't use. And it... 94 levels. The Tome of Peridia. So that should be fine. Let's go ahead and equip our ring. And you can see it's slowly draining XP. But it is slow. So... And I wonder if we could potentially get this off of 1 swamp pack. I'm not for sure. There we go. That's what it is. So hold left shift and then right. Oops. There we go. Crowd control. Yeah, it's hold left shift and right click to charge up, and then let go of left shift to charge at the enemies. That's what it is. So that advancement is done. Alright, so let's go see about some sludges and some peat mummies. And then I've got to go out and farm tar bastes. Like, that's the other remaining thing. So Shimmer Stone, we'll go ahead and put this onto our bar here. And that sure looks like a sludge to me. I don't know if it'll work with small sludges or if it has to be... Should work with small sludges, I should think. So we'll take our Sludge Slicer and... Nah, it has to be a large sludge. There we go. And we got the Sticky Situation advancement. And really all we have left is the peat mummy, and then we have to get the boss spawned. So I'm just going to have to fly around until we find a peat mummy. Oh, there's a tar baste. I do want this guy. No. Okay. Okay. I don't want any of that. I really don't. There we go. He's dead, and we got a tar drip. Seriously? Okay. Back to farming. Back to looking for tar beasts and beat mummies. And I'm going to have to see if I can harvest those roots. I have to test it in Test World to see if Silk Touch will harvest them. Because I am going to want some of those for my decorations. I know like shears and sickles and stuff like that don't work to harvest the roots. But I'm hoping that Silk Touch will, which won't be until the next age before we're going to be able to get that. But even still, I am going to want some of those. There's a lot of tar pits. I feel like there's a pretty decent chance we'll find more tar beasts. Oh, there's one, actually. Let me grab this, though, because I need some levels here. Let's get this guy. Come on. Looks like just a tar drip. Oh no, we got a tar beast heart. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. So we can use that to make our boss summoning item. I still have to find a peat mummy though. I still have not found one. Technically, I think I could probably get it during the boss fight. Using the Shimmer Stone. Maybe. It might be worth a shot. So we might head back. Okay, yeah, I'm not finding any peat mummies. So we'll try it during the boss fight because he does summon peat mummies. And then if it doesn't pop then I can come back and I can, you know, try to find it for that last advancement. But okay, so back in the overworld, let's drop our tar beast heart into here. And yeah, I'm gonna need more. Gonna need more charge on that life crystal. That's fine. We'll grab a few of these white hearts. There we go, 98%. Sounds good. And we'll get this thing animating. And it's basically going to reanimate the tar beast heart, so we get an animated tar beast heart. And then we can use that with a little bit of our Manus, Sludge Ball, and a Shimmer Stone to get our mummy bait. Our Manus, do we have our Manus on hand? Yeah, we got 3.26. Okay, so let me get one of these Dendrithus vials. There we go. There's one Armanus. Which really I could have just picked up the jar because it's going to use an exact amount. And then we've got our Sludge Ball, we've got our Shimmer Stone. Let me get another Shimmer Stone for distracting the mummies. There's our animated tar beast heart. I'm going to get my legs repaired because they're pretty low at the moment. I think I'm going to have to go out and mine. I've got 4 stacks, but I go through sulfur so much over here. Okay, so animated tar beast heart, Shimmer Stone, Armanus, Sludge Ball, mummy bait. Aha. Final boss time of Betweenlands. Here we go. Let's do this. And it should be our final ring too. Now we do have the Ring of Recruitment, and I might... Let's see. That's not the one that summons the peat mummies. It's the peat mummy boss drops a ring where you can summon peat mummies up out of the ground. It grants the power to recruit enemies. We want to use that. I'll probably just use Ring of Power, honestly. Like Ring of Power and Ring of Ascent. Actually, I probably won't even use the Ring of Ascent. I'll probably just go in there with the Ring of Power and a health potion and just beat him down. Maybe a strength potion too, so. Okay, so there we go. We're all armored out now, and we dump. Let me actually make some more sap jello. Because I've only got 20 stacks of sap and 7.5 stacks of sludge jello. Okay, so looking through here, the only advancements we're missing is distract a peat mummy, defeat the dreadful peat mummy, and get all the rings. Which is all like... Hopefully, if we can distract a peat mummy within the fight, that's like all within the same battle. So, this should go well. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to... so I've got the Ring of Power at the ready. Let me get Elixir of Strength. And let me get Elixir of Healing. And then let's see. I believe the mummy bait, I think it has to be a marsh biome or a sludge plains biome for this to work. So let's just pop up here Because what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lure them all into the water. That's what I'm going to do. Pop my potion so I'm unkillable and take them into the water and just beat them down. This right here actually I think will work. Right in this area, which is not a bad spot. Let's try this. Let us try this. So we'll just throw that down on the ground. And there we go. Dreadful peat mummy time. And let's go ahead and pop our elixirs. That's what he looks like. And see, he summons peat mummies. And let's actually try... There we go. Fetch. And let me put on my Ring of Power. Look at that. A lot of that's Elixir of Strength. He's got 550 HP. Oh, this right here, he grabs you and packs you around and like chews on you. Not a big deal. And these peat mummies, you notice they are a bit weaker. They're kind of damaged. And there we go. We got the Beating Dead Meat and the None to Rule Them All advancements. And let me go ahead and turn this ring off. Whoops. So much Shimmer Stone. Okay, now somewhere around here. There it is. Okay. I was looking for that. We got the Ring of Summoning. Grants the ability to summon allies from the depths. We also got another amulet slot, and we have an Epic Shader grab bag with Taken Shader. Okay, let me get my Hunger and Decay back up. And we're still under the effects of Strength and Healing. That really, I kind of overkilled it a little bit there, I think. And then the Ring of Summoning, what we can do is, to use it, we can hold R. And there we go. See this? Mummy arms. And they'll attack enemies. I think maybe they're trying to attack the frog, I'm not sure. Let's go see if we can find something to attack with it. Okay, here comes a silk crab. See, just holding R pretty much destroys it. And then basically if I just aim it at things, that's where the arms come up, is where I aim. So I can kind of aim it and destroy things. It's somewhat of a ranged weapon. I mean, it's got a limited range, but still quite effective. And then you die. It's so nice. It's such a good ring. I haven't really used the Ring of Recruitment. You can use it. By the way, if you right-click this in your inventory, it's going to recharge it. So, Ring of Power works the same way. Did I put the Ring of Power away, or? Yeah, I did. Okay. I'll go ahead and recharge it. And I'm going to go ahead and turn our Ring of Ascent back on. And we'll fly back to the overworld. But the Ring of Recruitment, I haven't really used it too much. Basically what you can do with that one, I believe it's hold right-click, or right-click and something, or I don't know, something. It'll tell on the ring, but you can hold it and it'll basically mind control enemies to work for you. I don't use it too much because, like, I don't really need help killing mobs. I don't feel like too much. But the Ring of Summoning is pretty powerful. I do quite like that one because it does, like, just a lot of just constant damage, which is quite useful. It's quite useful indeed, especially, like, for any kind of a ranged encounter, anything like that. It is awesome. Go ahead and turn this ring off. And then, of course, we have our ring for not exactly flight, but we're able to levitate off the ground. It's nice for anything with, like, dangers. Like, if you go into a white fortress, you can kind of levitate off the ground and go over the spikes and things like that, which is quite useful. Alright, but yeah, let's take a look. I believe that's everything from the Betweenlands. I think we have covered it all, and we have done it all. I'm still collecting things, like the little memos and the music discs and stuff like that, but yeah, we have done every bit of it. Every bit of it. Okay, next objective here is Twilight Forest. And I still need to finish, like, some of these. Mainly that and that. Water strainers and that dimension. So, oh, and then all this stuff we need to do, I guess. Even though I don't really feel like any of the stuff is really all that necessary. Alrighty, but I know it's about wrapping up point for this episode. I know it's a lot shorter than the last episode, but we got what we came to do done. I will say there's one other thing from Betweenlands we're going to cover at a later date. I've got to farm up another Tar Beast Heart. And that is, I want to cover minions. I want to make a minion and everything, but I've got to farm up a Tar Beast Heart, and so we'll do that a little bit later on once I get one. And I also have to farm up Tar Drips, because you need 8 Tar Drips and a Tar Beast Heart. It's not too bad flying around that little like mud plains area, but we'll tackle that later. So next episode we are going to be doing the long-awaited elevators, because I know there's been a lot of people that have been interested in them. I want to get them in to these totems so that we can travel to the tops of the totems. Not the actual roof of the totem, we're going to be traveling to the top layer. So I'm actually going to open up some of the tops of these so we have kind of viewing platforms up at the top of those totems for that purpose. So we'll be adding in some elevators. We won't get an elevator probably on this one because I have the Astral Sorcery set up there right now. I think I decided, because I know I was talking before, we could possibly put the Astral Sorcery area on top of that totem, but it doesn't really fit, like, because, you know, Astral Sorcery has that marble and stuff. It doesn't really fit the build at all. And then in addition, it actually doesn't fit, like, physically, it doesn't fit once we get up to the bigger crafting altars and stuff like that. And Astral Sorcery, we're going to have, like, you know, a numerous amount of multi-blocks that we're going to have to build, so it really doesn't work too well on top of that totem, so we're going to have that off-site. But for right now, we're going to have our crafting altar up there, and that's simply due to the fact that we have access to really good starlight on top of that totem. That one probably won't get an elevator until we move that stuff, so we'll be focusing on the other 2 totems, adding those elevators, adding those observation decks, and yeah. And then in between episodes, I might start the chisels and bits on the wings. That's another thing I really need to get started. But I keep having these projects like Betweenlands. I wanted to get this area set up. I still have to continue spreading this area out. That's going to take a little while, but I'm going to work on it just bits here and there. But really, I mean, after this area is spread out and like a little bit of detail stuff has come through and done, and maybe that little pin cleaned up and some little things like that, this area will be done. So we do have one other portal we're going to be adding. After that, there's really not any other portals that we're going to need until we get to Galacticraft. So, at least that come to mind, because it's mainly going to be beneath, which is right over there. Then we have Betweenlands, Twilight Forest, and we need a Hunting Dimension portal. And then I think that's it. I think, for right now anyways. Which we'll set that up. I've got an idea for how I want to do the Hunting Dimension. So, next episode will be elevators and wine. I want to get into brewing wine. And honestly, after we hit that point, I'm going to move some sheep over and everything, and agriculturally, we will be well established agriculturally. We may also do Rustic Potions at some point, but honestly, if we do Rustic Potions, it'll probably just be more of like a here's how to do it. It's not, I don't even know that I'll do them in this Let's Play, because there's not a whole lot of point in them when we have these. The Rustic Potions are kind of like, yeah, because you know, they're pretty much vanilla potions. And why would you do vanilla brewing when you have Betweenlands brewing? It doesn't make any sense. It does not make any sense. So, I don't know. I'm not sure yet, but I think the Rustic Potions are just in there for, like, if you don't want to do Betweenlands Potions, like, because they are a little bit involved to get started, then maybe here's your Rustic Potions until the next age or something. I don't know. But I want to get that warehouse situated. I'm almost done putting in the support blocks, and then I'm going to work on the rest of the exterior and starting the interior and stuff. So we might actually have a warehouse set up by next episode, which will be good, or at least, you know, started kind of a thing. Because storage is just getting bad. I mean, I'm getting to the point where it's really tough, honestly, to empty out my bags and stuff like that. I mean, I've got the area in the Betweenlands area that has, there we go. I've got the area in the Betweenlands area that has, like, you know, my metals, my precious materials, my crops, things like that. And then I have the wood spot, but as far as like a really good, like, you know, here's a lot of storage, I don't have that at the moment. So I'd like to get that in. Also, one note that I want to make, I decided with the tree farm, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use tree rotation instead of continuing to expand this, because I still have a lot of saplings that I need to add to this, and more saplings yet to come. Oh yeah, we do still have the nether portal. I almost forgot about the nether portal. We are going to have to add that over there, but that's fine. That's not a problem. And then the end dimension as well. But anyways, I decided to do tree rotation for this. So I'm actually probably going to clear a lot of this out for right now. And then depending on what wood I need at the time, I can plant it in mass through here. Because like the wood I have right here, you know, I've got like cedar planted. Well, that's because I was using so much cedar over there. I've got dark oak planted because I was using dark oak over there. I've got silver bale because I was using silver bale. I've got acacia because I was using acacia. You know, stuff like that. So maybe what I'll do is just kind of rotate it. And so if I need these types of wood at the moment, then I'll rotate those in and farm them until I don't need them. And that way, for one, it's going to make this place look a little bit cleaner instead of having just like tree just smushed up together. It's really only going to have like the specific trees that we're farming. And, you know, it's got places where we can plant all of them, but it doesn't necessarily, it's not going to have like all this stuff planted out at the same time. What happened here? Or could have been lightning. I've noticed lightning, actually, that's one thing, I meant to mention that in the last episode. And something funny that happened. I was just sitting, I was actually off the tree farm, and I was just farming wood the other day. And all of a sudden it said, parrot died, parrot died. Or parrot burned to death, parrot burned to death. Lightning struck this cage. And it killed all of my parrots. By the way, this this area here, I need to clear this out. That's where I crack eggs to make pies, which I'm not really doing anymore. So I need to kill all the chickens. I'm thinking about maybe doing a just a vanilla chicken auto farm. Do we have dispensers yet by chance? Do we have those? No, we don't have dispensers. There might be some alternative. I'm gonna take a look, but or we may have to wait till the next stage. But I'm wanting to do like a vanilla just chicken farm where it makes, you know, the cooked chicken and then makes feathers and all that stuff too, which I'll probably just trash. So lightning, watch out for lightning. It does strike. It does kill stuff. And this is from mobs exploding down there, which they're starting to clear it out. So they're not going to be able to explode in there anymore. But not going to be able to destroy the land anymore. But yeah. Like, look at this. There's just like just craters from all the mobs blowing up here. All the creepers like blowing up and trying to kill things. It's like a wasteland. One of these days I'm going to come through here, I'm going to clean this up. Maybe. Like, light it up to the point that nothing can spawn. And yeah. We'll see. We'll see. But, yeah, so next episode. Anyways, next episode is going to be elevators and wine. The following episode, we will either be getting into the Twilight Forest or we're going to be setting up in the hunting dimension. I might be doing hunting dimension because I would like to get access to an easy way to get ender pearls. We'll probably set up kind of an auto kill system. I'll show you guys a very effective way to go in there and get set up without dying. I've seen lots of people dying when they go to the hunting dimension, and I don't think it's necessarily needed. I think you can go in there using some Betweenlands gear and do it. I know that the hunting dimension first opened up in Age 1, but I think that's more of like trolling. Of course, you didn't have Endermen, you didn't have witches, and you didn't have skeletons with bows, so I think that makes a big difference too, but we're going to be going in Age 2. But anyways, we'll get that set up, you know, in one of the coming episodes as well, and then it'll be back to the Twilight Forest for us. And then we're going to go for Journey Map. Ha. So, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you did, as always, be sure and hit that like button and go ahead and subscribe if you're not already to stay updated with when new videos come out, and I hope to see you guys next time. So until then, as always, do take care, stay safe, and I'll see you guys then.